First tonight, the Kettering School Board wrapping up a meeting at Kettering Fairmont High School earlier this evening. That's after water at Roush Stadium tested positive for the Legionella bacteria. Now they're trying to find out what kind and how much.
Now, we were first to tell you how several student athletes had fallen ill in recent weeks. And right now, it's unclear if their symptoms are the result of that Legionella bacteria. Mamie Bob brings us up to date.
At today's school board meeting, we are hearing from the superintendent. She's addressing Legionella being found at the field house. A few days ago, the district told football families that the water in Roush Stadium tested positive for Legionella. The district tested the water after 36 athletes became ill. Right now, several students are being tested for Legionnaires. We are told results could take 2 to 3 weeks. At Tuesday's school board meeting, Superintendent Mindy McCarthy-Stewart said starting Friday, steps will be taken to get rid of the bacteria.
Some of the remediation includes sanitizing and installing a new filter on the ice machine, cleaning and sanitizing the drinking fountains, flushing all pipes using hyperchlorination, and retesting all water sources after a 72-hour period.
This is not the first time the district is dealing with this. In 2019, Keith Chafin, a school custodian who worked for the Kettering School District for at least 20 years, became severely ill. He died in May from Legionella pneumonia that year. The district then tested the water. It was positive for Legionella. I did ask the district about Chafin, but it did not comment. At this time, the field house is closed. The district is waiting to find out what type of Legionella and just how much is there. We're told those results will take 7 to 10 days. Back to you.
Mamie, thank you. Tonight, we now know the name of the man shot and killed over the weekend in a deadly shooting that sparked a massive police response. Now, it happened on Saturday on Linden Avenue at the Davis-Linden building. The Montgomery County coroner identified the victim as 45-year-old Randy Allen. Police say initial reports were about a fight that then turned deadly. Right now, 2 suspects are behind bars.
Also, a live look tonight from the Miami Valley Jail's website as this guy has pleaded not guilty after being accused of sexually assaulting a toddler last Friday in Piqua. 34-year-old Jesse Hartman is facing rape and burglary charges. Now, he remains in jail on a $1 million bond tonight.
Also tonight, a classroom dedicated to a fallen hero. Clark State College dedicating a classroom to the late Clark County Sheriff's Deputy Matthew Yates. A Clark State alumnus, Yates was a beloved member of the Clark County law enforcement community. Now, Yates was shot and killed in the line of duty nearly a year ago. The classroom will be used for the police academy and criminal justice classes.
Making sure that students who go into these fields and other fields, frankly, see his the greatest sacrifice that a person could give, but are also inspired by his hard work and his dedication to his profession.
A scholarship has also been established in Yates' honor for students entering criminal justice or attending the police academy. Tonight, Attorney General Dave Yost taking to Twitter with a warning for concert goers. This as scammers are looking to make a quick buck off of people looking to get last-minute Taylor Swift tickets to her Cincinnati show. Now, Gwyneth Falloon has been following this story for us tonight, joining us now live in studio. And Gwen, I know that before people swipe their card or hand over that cash, what are some of those red flags they should be looking for?
Yeah, so there are a couple different red flags that you should be on the lookout for. One of which is if you take a look actually at SeatGeek, the lowest ticket price that I saw was over $1,000. So if you're finding a ticket price for much, much lower or a deal that just seems too good to be true, it probably is. Now, the Better Business Bureau also recommends purchasing your tickets from the venue or the venue's second seller. You should also be careful about what payment method is being asked and use a credit card when possible.
If there is any problems, you can dispute them with your credit card company. It gives you some protections. If you use a prepaid debit card or a wire transfer, those are untraceable and it's hard to get that money back.
Now, Gwen, of course, there's some resources that are available. So how do they make sure that the seller is checking out?
Right. So there's a number of different websites that you could go to. BBB.com is one of them. You could also try looking at the National Association of Ticket Brokers or try VerifiedTicketSource.com. If you think you have been scammed, you should report it to the BBB or contact the Attorney General's office. Back to you.
Gwen, thanks. Ohio may be getting a new holiday. 2 state lawmakers introducing a resolution to designate July 1st as Taylor Swift Day. Swift is performing at Paycor Stadium next Friday and Saturday as part of her Eras Tour. The resolution says the singer has used her platform to advocate for important causes, including education access, disaster relief, and support for victims of sexual assault. All right, to weather now, and if you've been missing the sun, sounds like we got maybe some good news. It's almost here.
Yeah, a little bit of it tomorrow.
Okay.
Not going to be full on sun.
Okay.
We'll definitely have some cloud cover. I'm trying to be optimistic
Hey,
here.
I appreciate that.
We'll take whatever sunshine we could get because today we barely saw it. If you were off to the north, our northern counties did see a little bit of that sunshine. We do have some spotty showers around, and that's going to be the trend for the rest of this evening, too. You can see where we do have some light rainfall making its way into Greene County. Can't rule out a spotty shower across the area for the rest of this evening. 60s across the board, 67 in Xenia, 66 Springfield, 63 in Urbana, so fairly mild across the area. And we'll continue to drop into the mid-60s overnight. Again, a couple of showers, mostly cloudy sky. Heading into the day tomorrow, it is going to be a little bit warmer, but rain chances every day over these next several days. I'm going to time them all out for you coming up here in just a little bit.
I'm very proud of my son.
That was President Biden today, following reports that his son Hunter is pleading guilty to 2 federal tax misdemeanors. Now, as part of that agreement, Hunter Biden will avoid prosecution on a charge of illegally possessing a firearm as a drug user, and as long as he meets certain conditions. Now, the DOJ is recommending probation for the tax charges, though final sentencing will be up to a judge. The plea deal has drawn some criticism, though, from multiple GOP leaders who call it a sweetheart deal and a double standard. However, many also say this deal is nothing out of the ordinary.
In this case, there's nothing to indicate that there's anything improper or out of the ordinary with the deal. And it's common, frankly, to keep a prosecutor in place from the prior administration if they're investigating somebody currently in a different administration. That's normal. That's been done throughout. You saw it in the Edwards case, and you can go back and back.
So in a statement, the White House counsel's office said the president and first lady, quote, love their son and support him as he continues to rebuild his life.
Republican Congressman Jim Comer doubling down tonight on his belief President Biden and his son Hunter took massive bribes from a Ukrainian energy company executive. Now, he calls the unproven allegation a money laundering scheme. Comer wants to know why the media isn't hitting the story harder. His Democratic colleague Jamie Raskin says Comer's on to nothing.
But do you not have a little curiosity as to what the Biden family did to receive all this money? Are you not the least bit curious?
You know, my colleagues have been barking up the wrong tree. And, you know, we're on a wild goose chase, and I hope it can end so we can get back to work at more serious things.
Republicans are arranging to speak with a former business partner of Hunter Biden's to see if he has any information.
And more in the GOP are continuing to criticize this deal tonight. Some Ohio lawmakers like Congressman Jim Jordan and Senator J.D. Vance gave their opinions tonight. So Jordan took to Twitter. He tweeted, quote, 10% for the big guy, 0 jail time for his son. And J.D. Vance also tweeting, quote, any other American would have had the book thrown at them. The president's son gets a slap on the wrist.
Former President Donald Trump could go on trial in just a matter of months in his mishandling of classified documents case. Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, signed a court order listing an August 14th trial date. She expects the trial to run for about 2 weeks, but it's possible the defense, the prosecution, or even both could request a delay. Trump recently said he's not concerned.
So you're not worried about this case? Based on the law, 0. 0.
Trump faces 37 felony counts for retaining classified government documents after leaving the White House. Trump, however, denies any wrongdoing. Special counsel John Durham met with the House Intelligence Committee today in a closed-door meeting. It's been over a month since the release of Durham's final report on the FBI Russia-Trump probe. Committee Chairman Mike Turner says that Durham believes some reforms are needed at the FBI and for the procedures they use.
He gave us the impression that some of the misconduct is individualized, like there were bad people doing bad things. But then some of it is systemic, and some of it is where we need changes so that there's higher reviews, there's higher requirements for this to ever happen again.
The 300-plus page report criticized the FBI and the Justice Department throughout, but did not recommend any charges against individuals or any changes to the way politically sensitive investigations are handled.
Crews still racing to find the missing submersible with 5 people on board. What officials are saying about the difficulty of this type of search.
Questions of a motive still looming after a father confesses to killing his 3 young sons. What experts are now saying about possible warning signs.
Plus, tracking rain showers still. How much longer you'll need to keep that umbrella handy for coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Tonight, questions still remain out of Monroe Township after a father of 3 confessed to shooting and killing his sons.
Now, it's left many wondering if there were signs, anything that would indicate something like this could happen, even if it isn't as unimaginable as these murders. Now, Luke Jones has been talking to an expert about all this, gives us some insight on what they're saying.
One of Chad Dorman's neighbors is painting a picture of an angry and violent man long before last week's triple shooting. He says he frequently saw Dorman yelling at his wife and kids, and on one occasion saw him picking up his children and hurling them across the yard. These are things domestic violence advocates say should definitely be reported if you witness them.
Let them know what you've seen, what you've heard. Ask them to do a wellness check. Tell them that this is repeated occurrence, and then they'll decide if this is something that rises to the level of making a report for Children's Services.
Advocates say anytime an argument becomes physical, at that point you definitely want to report it to police. Now, they say if it's simply 2 strangers having a verbal argument, you may try diffusing it, but if it's someone like a neighbor and you're seeing the same type of verbal altercation repeatedly, that too may be worth reporting. In Claremont County, I'm Luke Jones.
Well, clouds across the area as well as some spotty showers around. That has been the trend through the day today, and that will continue to be the trend tomorrow. Although I do think we'll see just a little bit more sunshine. Our very persistent area of low pressure still situated just to the south of us. It will eventually head off to the northeast, and as that happens, rain chances will increase. That's going to be by Thursday night, Friday time frame. Until then, we'll have 60s overnight. Clouds building in tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Thinking lower 80s tomorrow afternoon. Can't rule out a shower. During the day on Thursday, a little cloudier. We'll start out in the 60s and then 70s by our Thursday afternoon. But again, we'll keep a spotty shower in the forecast. But rain chances continue to build in by our Friday time frame, which is still welcome precipitation. I'll talk about that, how much we're expecting coming up.
Well, as we speak, crews are racing to find a missing submersible with 5 people on board before their oxygen supply runs out. The sub went missing on Sunday during a trip to view the wreckage of the Titanic. Coast Guard officials estimate there's less than 35 hours of breathable air left in the vessel.
You're talking about a search area that's 900 miles east of Cape Cod, 400 miles south of St. John's. So logistically speaking, it's hard to bring assets to bear. It takes time, it takes coordination. And then we're dealing with, 2 pieces of, you're dealing with a surface search and a subsurface search. And frankly, that makes it an incredibly complex operation.
The Coast Guard has been coordinating with other agencies within the search, including the U.S. Navy and Canadian Coast Guard.
We're also learning more about the 5 people on board. They include Stockton Rush, the founder of Ocean Gate Expeditions, the company leading the voyage, a thrill-seeking businessman from Great Britain known for taking on risky adventures. A Pakistani businessman and his son. Also on board is a French Titanic expert who's been to that wreck more than 35 times. The submersible had a 96-hour oxygen supply when it was put to sea around 6 o'clock Sunday morning. That means the 5 people on board could run out of air by Thursday morning. Now, as the search continues, you may be wondering the difference between a submarine and a submersible. Well, the similarities are obvious, but a submarine is, of course, much more powerful. It can leave port, return on its own power. A submersible, like the missing Titan, has limited power and capabilities. It requires a companionship for return and launch. which is why the lives of those on board are dependent on being found before air runs out. Now, we'll continue to follow this and the search for those 5 on board that ship. You can find all of our information at Dayton247now.com. That story is under the Nation and World section.
A viewing held earlier today for 28-year-old Sierra Still. Now, Still was found earlier this month, shot dead in her home. Her husband, 27-year-old Tavion Glenn, remains in the Montgomery County Jail, accused of murdering her. The 28-year-old mother will be laid to rest tomorrow.
And the 9-year-old boy who was killed while crossing South Main Street in Centerville last week has been laid to rest. Bryson Abraham was hit by a construction truck while crossing the street with a friend. Bryson was a student at Driscoll Elementary School and was described as a shining light everywhere he went. The investigation is still ongoing.
A shocking story out of Portage County tonight. Now, we have to warn you, you may find this story disturbing. Agents are investigating after they found 146 dogs dead in various stages of decay inside a home near Akron. Portage County officials say that the homeowner is also the co-founder of an animal rescue organization called Canine Life Incorporated. Officials were led there after another neglect investigation in Parma, where more neglected and dead dogs were found.
Then you see them bringing out all these cages with dogs in it, and then bringing out the animals that didn't make it. It was sad.
There should be some legislation in place that any kind of rescue has, someone come in and do an inspection.
The case remains under investigation, and the dog's causes of death have yet to be determined. Canine Life Incorporated says that they're shocked and devastated by the discovery and are cooperating.
Tropical storm Brett is moving toward the eastern Caribbean, expected to hit by late Thursday. Now, the National Hurricane Center says the storm is no longer forecast to become a hurricane. Still, it's going to bring a lot of rain, strong winds, and rough surf to those islands. Officials are urging the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands to have their hurricane plans in place. It is still early to tell what, if any, impacts that storm will have on the U.S. mainland.
Meanwhile, severe storms and heat in the southern United States being blamed for killing 6 people. This as thousands remain without power due to complications from the weather. As of today, 5 states are without power. They include Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi. It's unclear just how long it'll take to restore power.
And here's a live look from downtown Troy on our sky cam there, or I should say traffic camera there, excuse me. Beautiful night tonight. Let's check in with Natalie to see how things are looking.
Well, got a couple of raindrops out here on our Watson's weather patio. Not overall a whole lot of rain, and that's kind of the trend that we're expecting overnight. Some spotty showers around. But as far as rainfall goes, for the month of June, we are spot on. Really haven't seen this. 2.77 inches, what we've seen for June, which is actually the normal for this time of the month. But for the year, we are still behind. And since we were so dry for the month of May, we still do have moderate drought conditions for the Dayton area. Abnormally dry for much of the Miami Valley, too. So more rain is on the way. Again, not a whole lot tonight or tomorrow, but by Thursday night, Friday, we have a better shot at some rainfall. So I'm going to talk about that and a look at our 7-day coming up here in just a little bit.
The Kettering School District hiring a new principal tonight. How the new hire is changing representation in Kettering schools. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, major move for the Kettering School District, hiring